In our country, there are many animals who are left abandoned on the streets, but there are two kinds of shelters that a puppy is placed in. There is a no-kill shelter, and then there is the high-kill shelter. Many animals who are brought in the shelter are euthanized.
Because people don't spay and neuter. And in the southern states, it comes down to education, I think, and they don't feel like they need to spay and neuter their dogs. They become pregnant, there's puppies running around everywhere, and there's not enough room in the shelters, and they have to put them to sleep. It's not a money issue, it's a mentality. It's the mentality. I think there's awareness. I just think that people down in the South tend to look at their animals as property, and they just really don't care enough about it.
These animals who are brought in these shelters do not get a chance at finding a forever home. Unfortunately, these high-kill shelters are the only option for some animals. These shelters strike controversy in communities. Even though the high-kill shelter has helped trying to reduce the amount of animals who roam on the streets of towns or cities, the way the animals are put to death is very saddening to hear. That is why rescue teams are formed to help bring animals to better homes and live a better life.
I am the director of Puppies and More Rescue in Marlton, New Jersey. I basically I'm a receiving rescue for death row puppies and dogs, pregnant dogs, nursing mommies. We work with Animal Aid, Karen Talbot, and she transports once a month puppies and dogs to us that would die in Georgia. We bring the puppies in, we place them into foster homes until we find loving forever homes.
My daughter and I were just interested in helping, and so we looked to see a local rescue for dogs, and we found that when we Googled. We took in a litter of 4 this time, and so we have Riley and Rena and Rue and Roxy. So we had 4 females. More recent ones have been rescued from Georgia. Georgia has an awful lot of high-kill shelters, and so the more recent pups have been coming in from Georgia. Usually when we get them, they come off of transport, and the puppies, so they've been traveling for a good while, and so they're usually just so relieved to get here. Very excited. They usually are they greet you, they lick you, they're jumping, they're moving, lots of activity initially, and then they just crash and sleep.
We have different fundraisers at different restaurants in the area for people to come, and they donate a certain percentage to the rescue.
My rescue, Puppies and More, we basically are able to fund our medical, our food for the animals, our vaccines through adoption, donations, and fees. Puppies that come to us usually have less than 12 hours to live. And when they get up to the Northeast, where we're educated, we're aware, it's very lucky for an animal down south to be here because we find so many loving homes.
The puppy is rescued either abandoned or dropped off at a shelter or found in a field, and then it comes into a rescue in Georgia, and then our rescue brings them to New Jersey. Once they're here, they come into a foster home. We foster them, and then we put them up for adoption. While we're fostering them, it's our job to get them healthy, make sure that they're well, make sure that they're socialized, make sure that they're ready to go to forever homes, and then to look for the best possible match of a forever home. Once we find that, we actually do meet and greets, so we ask the family to come and meet the puppy or the dog, and once they've met the puppy and it looks like a good match for both ways, then the puppy goes home with them. When we get a puppy into rescue in our home, in a foster home, our job is number 1 to make sure they're healthy. Number 2 is to socialize them, if at all possible, with our dogs, with our family, with our kids. If not, sometimes it's out and about. We also are just trying to see how they interact, see what their personalities are like, and just get them on a schedule, start to begin the training process, and then get them ready to go.
We recently had a mommy dog that had 14 puppies, and she was going to be put to sleep in the shelter by Heartstick, which is not humane. And we were able to find a foster willing to take 15 dogs into her home, the mommy and 14 puppies. And every puppy and mommy got adopted and went into wonderful homes. So that was one of our big success stories. Sometimes the dogs, before I started working with Georgia and I worked with Ohio, we would get a lot of sick dogs, and our medical bills were sky high. We would lose puppies. Sometimes puppies their immune systems are so weak that even though you bring them up, we do everything we can, they just can't fight certain viruses, and I think that when we lose a dog, it's never easy and it's always horrible. High kill shelters are reality, so it's stressful when we can't get a dog into rescue. Sometimes you can't. Or there was euthanized before we could help. That's where it becomes stressful. It's stressful because we lose a foster home. We don't have enough foster homes. Sometimes we have to leave dogs behind, and I can only take as many puppies and dogs as foster homes who sign up for that month transport. We raise awareness by starting with the children. Every transport that we have once a month here in Marlton, we bring the Girl Scouts out, the Brownies, the Boy Scouts, and they can earn a badge. And we teach them why we're doing what we're doing before the caravan of death row dogs comes around my driveway.
We got enough money to get all the puppies and the mom dogs in that we needed to get into the rescue that wouldn't be put down.
Once they come into rescue, we vaccinate, we deworm. Sometimes they're filled with fleas. We basically do everything that we can do to get that puppy healthy.
When Roxy first came, we picked her up and she scratched and she bit, and she was very not used to being handled physically, and it took a while. And Roxy went to her forever home yesterday, and when she left, she was able to be held without any difficulty. She was licking instead of biting. She was definitely much calmer, much more used to being interacted with, and she was healthy. Her stool looked good and everything else about her was good.
Greatest joy is when we get a meet and greet set up with an adopting family in the Northeast with a dog that otherwise would have died in the South. And sometimes it's bittersweet because the fosters love their dogs. They've had them for a couple weeks, but it's wonderful when they get to go to their forever home.
To be kind, loving, take in the animals that we can to get them their new loving homes.
It's a wonderful experience, absolutely wonderful. They can learn how to sacrifice, how to give. They can learn how to use your time for others versus yourself. Learn how to take care of animal. They can learn how to work with people and just have a great experience overall. See a puppy go from, being afraid and alone and not having a future to having a forever home. And I think the best part about the whole thing is when you see a family walk in your door and meet the dog and have it all click and then watch the dog go out the door with them.
Puppies and More Rescue is a single factor out of many that help the cause. Other groups with the same intention and goal tried their hardest in rescuing as much animals as they possibly can. Examples of other local rescue groups include JoJo's Place, America Kennel Club, and Animal Humane Society, just to name a few. There is also national awareness ads that are performed across our nation. A good example is the National Animal Shelter Reform Week. This is a week in the month of November in which people who care about the situation spread their awareness of the issue. Many programs were created during this particular week. The programs include an increase in adoptions, the reduce of birth rate, and animals were sent to responsible caretakers. These programs were mainly created by animal shelters that are willing to fix the situation. With care, kindness, and resourcefulness, these rescue groups can easily accomplish their goals.